Hi everybody. Happy New Year. Welcome back. We're on episode 7, which is wild that I get to say that. Didn't think I was going to make it past episode 2. I'm just kidding. But I hope everybody had a great New Year. Remember back in episode 3 when I said that I was going to be making episodes every Friday? Yeah, that's cute. So yeah, I hope everybody had a good New Year. I hope everybody's alcohol is all out of their system. I had a great New Year. I was with friends and, it was lit. So I have a lot to talk about today. So today's probably going to be a pretty long episode, or maybe just longer than the normal. But I hope you guys enjoy. So I do want to start off today's episode with a thought of the day. And I think I might have 2. So just bear with me. But my first thought of the day is... it's about women who have no plans of having children or getting married. And I know both of those at the same time is kind of frowned upon, because usually I know most women do either want one of the other. They either want kids or they want to get married. If they don't want to get married, they want to have kids, or if they don't want to have kids, they at least do want to get married. I, for one, am one of those women who do not want either one of those. And I find myself fighting for my life every time I tell that to someone new, or hell, even tell it to someone that's been in my life. And of course, just like every other woman out there, we always get told, oh, well, you'll change your mind when you get older, or you just have to wait until you find the right man. If I've been saying it since I was 12 and I'm now in my mid-20s, I don't think I'm going to change my mind. My mind has yet to change. And also, why does the right man have to change my mind? If anything, when I do find the right man, he's going to not want children as well. He's going to not want to get married as well. You know what I mean? So that statement is always funny to me, because it's just why... how come the right thing for me has to change what I want? And why do you think that he is going to change that for me? Why can't it be a scenario where I meet a great man who does want kids, and I show him how good of a life we can have together without marriage or without children? It's just always been one of those things where it seems like the man has the upper hand. And he has the ability to control the future of the relationship, when that's not true. Because if I ever did meet a man and we were in love, and I've never known a love like this, and he takes care of me and he gives me all the affirmations that I need, and I never have to worry about anything. If that man says that he wants 3 kids, I'm going to leave. I don't think that I could compromise something so deeply. I am not going to sacrifice my body, my mind, my health, and my individuality over love. That might sound crazy to some people. That might be well, love is the ultimate sacrifice. That's what you have to do. That's what you have to do. I will not be partaking in that. And it's a hard conversation to have without getting defensive. For sure, because I've even had an ex tell me once that he said, and who was this? I have aliases for all of my exes, so I'm trying to remember what his alias is so I don't bait his name out. Oh, this was Carrie. This was Carrie Bradshaw. So this was Carrie Bradshaw. When I start getting into deep stories about my exes, you guys have to remember their aliases. So this ex in particular was Carrie Bradshaw. And Carrie Bradshaw told me, after I told him that I didn't have any plans of getting married or having kids, he told me, well, what's the point? What's the point of you even being a woman if you don't want to get married or have children? And I'm not going to lie. There's not a lot of things I get offended by. I hardly get offended, because I can take a joke. I can take a good little lashing. But that one right there, actually, I was like, well, damn. You just went and said it, didn't you? That's crazy. he said, what's the use of you being a woman if you don't want to get married or have kids? And I'm not going to lie, I had no comeback. I was like, wow, I wasn't prepared to be asked that question. And it's such a pitiful question. It's such a pitiful question. Now what I would have done back when I was about 18, I would have said, well, what's the use of you being a man if you can't go to war and build me a house? But since I've grown and I'm not a childish thinker anymore, I know that the purpose of a man is so much more than building a house and going to war, right? I know that, but I could have still said it, even though I know that, just to get my lick back, but I didn't, because I didn't know how to answer his question at the time. At the time, when he asked me that question, I didn't have a comeback, because in my head I was like, well, damn, what is the purpose of me being a woman if I don't want to have kids and get married? Why am I here? And, then it went into a whole existential crisis about myself. And that's what you're supposed to do as a woman, right? You're supposed to, find a man, settle down, have some kids, and, be a mom for the rest of your life. And in the middle of my existential crisis, I kind of felt myself knock on my head and be like, now, girl, you know that is not all. That's not for you. And that's not it. So, then of course I had to play a little Tracy Ellis Ross, because she's the queen of, not giving birth and not getting married. And she basically just said, I'm here as an experience. My life is my experience. I don't feel like I owe that experience to anybody, and I don't feel like I should give that experience up to anybody. I'll have as much fun in this experience as I want to, and I'll experience as much as I want to in this life. But I don't feel like it was given to me for somebody else. I don't feel like I was given this life to take care of somebody else or to give my life to somebody else. And I just resonated with that so much, because I have never seen myself as being a mom. To even imagine someone calling me mom feels so alien to me, because I don't have a maternal bone, vessel, vein in my body. I just don't. I really don't really like children, and I know everybody says that. But, I've seen friends that have said they don't like children and they pop out 3. But I was about to say I have like a personal vendetta towards children, but I promise I don't. Anytime I'm around children, I immediately not want to be around them. And that's not bad. I just know that I couldn't have any of my own. And, the same thing people says is, oh, I don't like anybody else's child but mine. I don't feel like I should put that to the test, because what happens when I don't like any children, including my own? And now that child is a product of someone who shouldn't have had kids. You know what I mean? And I would never put anybody else through that. I'm a product of someone who shouldn't have had kids. And that's probably why I feel so strongly about this this whole notion of not having kids. Bad mothers run in my family like a cancerous disease. And I just don't feel like being a part of that marching band and selfishly bringing someone else into the world, knowing that I don't want to and I shouldn't. I'm trying to explain this as best as I can without sounding like a monster, but it's just not for me. I also know that I have a lot of self-growth to do, mentally, emotionally, hell, even physically. And I've seen with my friends and family how they've, said that their child made them grow up, or their child forced them to just be a better human. And in my opinion, I don't think a child is the thing you need to to practice your humility on, or to practice your decency on being a human being. I know I'm butchering this explanation, but in a perfect world in my head, before I decide to have a child, which would be never, by the way, this is just a hypothetical scenario, I would already be every bit of woman that I think I can be. I would already be financially stable. I just wouldn't use my child as a developmental tool. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. And of course, accidents happen. That's a whole nother story, for a whole nother topic. But I in my family and in my close relationships personally, I've seen people be so irresponsible with the decision of having children that in the long run, it only affects the child. When the parent thinks that, oh, I got it through the mud. It's only been me and my son. It's been me and my daughter. We've been through the trenches together, but now we're living lavish. You are living lavish because you've went from the bottom to like the middle or the top. That baby should have been there when you were at the middle or the top already. You know, you have dragged this baby in this baby's or this child's formative years. So their first memories of being alive and their first memories of having someone to look up to, or their first everything, their first emotions, everything has been at that period when you guys were at your lowest. And now that you're at the middle or at that top and you are mentally stable and you're happy, that child is still suffering from its very first memories of being in the mud. Does that make sense to you guys? I don't know. It's just when I think about having kids, this is the stuff that goes through my mind. So at the end of the conclusion, I'm just like, I can't. As far as marriage, I feel like out of all of my negativities towards marriage, I think that's the one that's strictly based on how I was raised and my surroundings. I did not come in contact with a healthy marriage until I was already an adult. It just always seemed like the man had the upper hand in every marriage that I've ever seen, whether it's a young marriage, an old marriage, an arranged marriage, a beneficial marriage. It always just seems like the men have the upper hand. Not in every situation, but just the situations that I've seen. Not only the fact that I would never get married in my 20s, because my 20s are sacred. And if you'll love me when I'm 28, you'll love me when I'm 32. That's just how I believe. If I say no to any marriage proposal and you get offended and you want to break it off, and I give you the reason, it's because I'm still too young. You were planning on spending the rest of your life with me anyway, no? So why can't you wait until I'm in my 30s to ask again? But I get it. I get it. Nobody wants to be told no, on bended knee. But I promise I would. And also, I know you guys have heard this statement come out of so many people's mouths, but I feel like marriage is a waste of time. No shade, no disrespect to the people who are married. Like I said, I do not shame any way people choose to live their life. Just because I don't want to get married doesn't mean I look at all marriages like, well, that's going to be shit. I do not do that. I do think it would be a waste of time on my part, because if I wanted to genuinely be with somebody for the rest of my life, I would just be with that person for the rest of my life. And if there weren't so many laws and steps that marriage took, I would maybe reconsider my my thought process. But since there is, when I need you to get out of my life, I need you to get out of my life at the moment I want you to get out. I don't want to have to call up a lawyer, file paperwork, go to court, figure out who's getting what. That sounds awful. And that's the reason why most people end up having mistresses, or, cheating happens, is because you want to get out of this, but the length of time it's going to take to get out of this is just exhausting to think about, And that's where the upper hand on the man comes, because it's just like, well, I'm just going to get a little thing on the side, or I'm just going to do this. I'm going to do that. Not saying that women don't do that, because women do it very well, and very quietly. I just don't want to put myself through that. And I feel like marriage is the easiest way to cheat. It's the easiest way to cheat. I know married men now, in my life now, presently now, that hit on girls, get girls' numbers, even have sex with girls, like they aren't married, like they haven't been in a fully committed relationship. You know what I mean? And that is something that I could never hear as a married woman. If that ever got that, I promise you that could never get back to me. My husband did what? My husband said what? Excuse me? You know what I mean? Marriage just seems like a cosmic joke to me. Again, no shade, no harm to the people who are married. If you're in a committed, wonderful relationship, all blessings and all kudos to you. But for me personally, it just seems like something that I would know in the back of my head that I shouldn't do, and I would do it anyway. And exactly what I thought would happen would happen. I'd be like, this is why you should always listen to yourself, because you knew this would happen. And I know all of my explanations sound like I'm just afraid of getting hurt, and I'm not afraid to admit that that's the truth. I'm not afraid of getting hurt by having children, though. I've waited too long to have an inkling of individuality, and it's taken me so long to get to know myself and be sensitive with myself that I can't imagine ever giving all of that energy to somebody else. Being someone's mom is being someone's everything. My mom, I'm a grown woman, and I can't imagine my life without my mom, because I cannot do anything without her. I mean, I can, but I just rather not. I need her for everything in my life. I am obsessed with that woman, and having to be that for somebody else is not appealing to me at whatsoever. Marriage, I do think maybe when I'm older, that might change, but it probably won't. I don't think there is a man alive or a woman alive that can make me put aside my logic. Because if you want to marry me, just be with me forever. Just be with me forever. That'll prove to me that you really want me. And if you're going to be faithful in this relationship, that should be no issue. That should be no issue. If you want to tell people we're married, by all means. But if you really want me for the rest of your life, then just have me for the rest of your life. That should not be an issue. That is where the sentence, when you find the right man, he'll change your mind. That would be my right man. When I break down this explanation to him, I do not want to get married, but I want you. And if you want me, then let's just be together until we die. My perfect man will be like, let's do it. You know what I mean? So that was my thought of the day, guys. I don't know why I woke up and just thought about that, but I had to get it out, because no man, no woman should ever tell another woman, why are you here as a woman, as a as a birth giving able woman, why are you here on this earth if you don't want to give birth or give your life away to a man? No woman should ever hear that. That's a very fucked up sentence. And Clifford was blocked immediately, by the way. As soon as he told me that, I was like, oh, that's cute, blocked. So yeah, that's my thought of the day, guys. And I hope there's a woman out here listening to this who also shares the same opinions, and you feel comforted by this, because you are every bit of a woman than somebody who's been married for 20 years and has 5 kids. That does not make you any less of a woman than her. So that's it, guys. All right. It's time to get it out of the dark spot. I know I started the episode a little rough, a little dark, but it's time to juice it up a little bit. I'm going to tell you guys one of my pet peeves. This is not going to be the story time segment. It's just going to be a little segue. I have many pet peeves, but I think this one is top 5 because I just experienced it a few days ago and I was like, I didn't know how much this bothered me until right now. So one of my pet peeves is going to someone's house that doesn't respect the quiet time sleep rule. Do you guys know what that is? The quiet time sleep rule is when you're spending the night at someone's house and it doesn't even apply to what time you wake up because I wake up fairly early. So that I can't even say, and you're sleeping in. But let's just say for this scenario, you're at someone's house, you're at a friend's house, a family member's house, and you're sleeping in their guest room or you're sleeping in their living room, right? Anything that you can sleep on, you've fallen asleep on. And they get up and just start doing everyday household chores while you're asleep. Washing dishes, vacuuming the floor, doing laundry, taking the dog out. You know what I mean? That makes me angry on a whole nother level because I can't even say it's how I was raised. It's just how my etiquette is. Like if there's someone sleeping in my house, I am not going to turn on slow jams and start vacuuming every room in my house. You know, I'm just not going to do that. That irks me to the center of my core. Because why are you doing this? I was at a friend's house not too long ago and I was asleep on her couch. Having good sleep. Could have been the best sleep of my life if I wasn't so rudely interrupted. And you know it was good sleep when you turn on your side and you start moving your neck up and down like you're really getting into that spot. And I just hear hella metal pans behind me, just clinking the hell away, water splashing everywhere, forks getting dropped into the sink. And I wake up with so much rage that I could have just grabbed all of my shit and walked out. Because what is happening? And I'm not, like I said, I am not the type of girl that sleeps until 11, 12, 10. I am up by like 8, 7. So it's still like 6, 5 o'clock in the morning. Why is a dish in your hand at 5 o'clock in the morning? First of all, that pissed me off because why are you even up? Why are you even up? Now, if she was cooking us breakfast, I would have got over my attitude. I still would have been pissed off, but I'd have been like, you know what? I'm irritated, but this omelet hitting. It's hitting, so I can't be that mad. But she was just washing dishes for the hell of it. And I remember sitting up and just staring at her because, like when you're awake, but you're still a little bit delusional. Like you can't tell if it's a dream or if it's a reality. So I just was like staring at her because I was like, there's no absolute way that this bitch is washing a cast iron skillet at 5 o'clock in the morning. I just know she isn't. And she definitely was. And it pissed me off. It pissed me off to the point where I couldn't even mention it. I couldn't even bring it up because I knew I was going to end up yelling at her. I was like, let's just go take a shower and calm down because I guess I'm awake now. I guess I'm up. Thank you for choosing that opportunity for me. It just really bothered me. And I've been to other people's houses, but I guess it's only when they don't have a guest room that you would hear like everyday household chores being done. Because if you were in a room with the door, you wouldn't hear as much. And I was in her living room, so I was right across from the kitchen. I heard every pan, every fork drop in that sink. And after every clink, I was like, I have to get up. I have to get up because I'm going to scream. I think it bothers me so much because it gives me flashbacks to that black ass household, like every Sunday morning as a child. When those slow jams were coming on and you smelt that Pine Sol and the vacuum was just rearing down the hallway. And then my mom would like hit my door with the vacuum as she was vacuuming the hallway. Why are you doing that? I think I'm getting mad now because I really think that's where the anger comes from. Because what? The smell mixed with like Luther Vandross and the sound of a vacuum, that could be like my hell. I'm telling you right now, that could be my seventh. Yeah, that for sure. I think that's where it comes from. Because I'm sleeping. What are you doing? Why is this happening? Maybe it's just me. Because I know if I had guests in my house, I'm in the bed for as long as they're in the bed. Unless I'm making them breakfast. And then I would go up to them and be like, hey girl, I'm making you breakfast. If you hear a little clink clink, just know, it's for you. It's coming. It's going to be hot and ready. It's hot and fresh. Okay. But I would never, while my guest is sleeping in my house, go 10 feet away from them and just start doing dishes, metal dishes at that. I don't know. Like I said, I just went through this like a couple weeks ago, so it's fresh on my mind. And I'm just like, no. If you're listening to this and you're planning on having guests over, or you're hosting some type of event where people need to sleep over, wait until they wake up to start doing things that make hella noise. Please. And you want to know something? That's also something I struggle with and that I need to work on. I expect people to do stuff for me so much without me having to tell them. Because in my mind, I know what I want and I know what I want them to do for me or with me. And I just expect them to be able to pick up my telepathic, hints. And like I said in previous episodes, I haven't always been the most emotionally expressive person. I'm still not. And I'm working on it. But I really need to get into the habit of telling people my feelings and what I expect out of them, instead of harboring it in my mind and getting mad when they don't show those attributes or what I want, or they don't meet my expectations. Nobody can meet my expectations if they don't know them. If I'm the only one knowing my expectations, of course I'm the only one meeting them. And it sounds so easy to do, but since I'm not like a very open person, when I get the feeling of, okay, I know I have to tell this person this, or I really want them to do this for me, or I really want them to do this with me, I just fall short. I just can't. It's such a triggering emotion to start opening up to people. And I know you guys understand. But I've met people in my life. I have a friend who is very open about anything. She'll tell you exactly how you made her feel in that moment. She doesn't wait a beat. If you made her upset, if we're like joking and I make her upset, she'll tell me right then and there, like, that was too far. That hurt my feelings. And I'm always so shocked when she does that, because I'm just like, how are you so connected with your emotions that you can do that so quickly? It'll take me 7 to 10 business days to find out that I'm actually offended by something that happened last week. You know what I mean? I find that so admirable when people are just so straightforward with their emotions and they can just feel everything right then and there. I'm so emotionally stunted that I'd just rather think myself into an attitude before I ever tell somebody, hey, could you please stop doing that? Could you please do this for me? Could you please do this? And that's just so stupid. That's in romantic relationships, friendships, even my parents. I just want people to be able to read my mind so bad so I don't have to say anything. I hate having to express myself. And I know that is not very grown up of me, but I really don't. But this is a thing about myself that I know. So I am actively trying to get better. Whenever I'm getting upset, I do announce that you're about to piss me off. That might not be the best way to convey that I'm getting angry, but at least I've put out the hint that I'm no longer joking in this scenario. Like, I'm getting upset. And if I could only do that when people make me happy or when people make me sad, I feel like my personality would grow a lot more. And people would know me a lot more. Let me see if I can explain this. Hold on. Have you guys ever seen those TikTok videos or YouTube videos where couples or friends like have this challenge where they go to the store and pick out a bunch of different things for each other. It's like something that's their favorite color, something that they love, something that they use every day, something that reminds you of them, something that, just things like that. And they'll be pulling them out the bag like bam, bam, bam. And they're like, oh my God, hi, you know me so well. Nobody would ever be able to do that for me. Not even my parents, because I'm such a closed off bitch. And I don't know why. I mean, I do know why, but I just want to not be like that. Like, nobody would ever be able to surprise me with anything, because nobody knows anything about me. And that's sad. So that's what I mean when I say I really need to start opening up more so that people can just do stuff for me without me having to tell them, and then it not be special anymore because I told you to do it. I hope that makes sense. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap up the episode there. But I do want to end on a personal story that's a little bit sad, but the girls will get it. What they say on TikTok, I don't know. I had it and then I lost it. Anyway, so there's nothing worse than seeing your man be somebody else's man, right? And I know somebody I know a woman who's listening to this is going to be like, girl, preach. Especially when you're fresh off of a breakup, mentally, right? So one of my exes, Voldemort is what I call him, because I don't want to bait his name out, even though he has no ties to this podcast whatsoever. But, just in case. So one of my exes, Voldemort, recently had a kid. And it is so weird seeing somebody that was yours be so different when they're somebody else's. And it's not hurting my feelings or anything like that. I don't feel any anger towards it. It's just, I don't know what emotion I feel when I see it, because when I look at him and when I look at his wife and when I look at their child, I don't know what I feel. I feel kind of like I had when he was with me, he wasn't himself. And I don't know if this is my low self-esteem speaking, but I feel like when we were together, we always talked about not having kids. And we always talked about, if we stay together longer and we want to get married on the down road, then that's what we'll do, right? I'm going to say something real shady after this, but I mean no harm to him or their family. And then when he left, not to mention he cheated on me, but when he left, he immediately got married and had a kid, right? So it's just like, well, who did I have when you were with me? Who was that, fake or was that real? And are you fake or are you real with her? And that's such a messed up question to ask, but it's a question that comes up regardless of how it sounds. And I don't know, it just makes me think, I know there's a girl or a woman going out there going, I know exactly what you're talking about, because I know opposites attract and people give different personalities to certain people, but that is such a jump from the man that I had for that length of our relationship. So it just, every time I see a picture of them, I'm always like, did you enjoy our relationship, or were you just telling me what I wanted to hear? And this is the life that you really wanted. Did you really want a kid and to get married? So yeah, I don't know what I mean by all of this, but the shady thing that I was about to say is this. I've only ever been with 4 men in my entire life. Don't ask me how many women I've been with, because the number is astronomical. I'm just joking. It's not. It is. And more than half of those men all are married with kids. And since the beginning of when I first started dating to the first one, till 2 years ago to the last one, I've always said that I never wanted to have kids and I never wanted to get married. That is something that has been stagnant throughout all of my relationships. And so now that we're all grown, like I said, more than half of them have children and marriages. Voldemort is the only one that hasn't come back to me and said, I should have stayed with you because the life that you wanted is the life that I want now. Now that I have this wife and these children, I can see now why you didn't want it. And I wish I would have stayed with you because my life would be so much easier with you. And the first person that told me that, it made me cry, because not only is that kind of an insult, but it makes me sad for their wife and their kids. And I'm tearing up now. And it makes me feel bad for myself, because I don't know, guys. This episode is just a bunch of random thoughts that I've been having. But it really does make me sad for their wife and their kids, because that is what you deemed as a perfect life and your perfect lifestyle. And now that you have it, you're miserable. And you want me to be your scapegoat because I have none of that. So I'm basically just a rogue person that you want to just fulfill all of your fantasies with. And that's not going to happen. Because when you were with me, you could have stayed with me and we could have been living this kidless, boundless life. Especially including the travel, what my job was. You know what I mean? So now that they have children and they've been married for years, and they see me living my best life in a different state, in a different country, they're like, damn, maybe that's what I wanted and I made a mistake. That's a mistake you cannot admit is a mistake. And I know that sounds weird, but I would never want to get married and to have my husband tell another woman that the life we built together was a mistake. And I don't know. So, like I said, Voldemort is the only ex that I have that has never said that to me. He is truly living his best life with his daughter that he just had and his wife. But when I saw their daughter was literally just born like 24 hours ago, which is weird that I'm talking about it, but he is a part of my life. Not really, but he, don't judge me, guys. Whatever. Y'all know. Y'all have been through it too. So don't be coming up here like, damn, she crazy. It's just something that I saw and I wanted to talk about it. But yeah, I don't know. Being a person is wild. Being a person is really, really strange. And because of all the emotions and all of the things that we see here on a daily basis, and we just have to choose how to react to them. And I'm not really good at hiding my feelings with myself. Now, if I'm out with other people, I can hide my feelings and my emotions all day. But when I'm with myself and I'm by myself like I am now, it's hard to lie to myself, because I know what the real tea is. You know what I mean? When I close that door and I get under those blankets and that single tear drops, I know the truth. So I can't lie to me. And that's one of the reasons I started this podcast, because when I'm talking to myself, I can't lie. But if I'm writing or if I'm typing, I can write a lie for Barack Obama. You know what I mean? I can be an excellent liar when I'm not speaking. But when I'm talking to myself, it's hard to lie, because I know what really goes on in my head at night, when the sun goes down. So yeah, guys, that's really all I wanted to talk about today. Long story short, being a human being is probably one of the most trippiest things ever, because there's just so much. Life in general is just so much. And I'm not trying to teach you guys anything. Like I said, this is not like a self-help podcast. This is not this is what you need to do in order to get out of this. I am just talking to you guys. I'm just trying to relate to you guys and hear your stories and you hear mine. That's it. I have nothing to teach. I have nothing to give. I'm just talking. So that's all I wanted to say. Thank you guys for checking back in on episode 7. Like I said in the beginning, Happy New Year. And I will see you guys on episode 8. Bye.